webinar today. My name is Vijay Krishnan. I'm the founder and CEO of iSportz. Before iSportz, I've got 20 plus years of Fortune 500 tech company experience, and the last, with some of them being with sports technology companies. And one thing which I noticed was most of the organizations, sports organizations, had multiple tools and they were not integrated, and they would always constantly have the struggle of how running the organizations, which are predominantly volunteer driven with multiple tools, and at the same time the data is siloed in one side of the thing. And then there were a lot of kids who actually could have benefited with the programs these organizations have, but they rarely get to know about these organizations programs and things like that. So we had two sides of the coin. One is organizations didn't have the system, nor were the kids and the underserved communities having an opportunity to participate in more sports activities. And me being a parent of three, I've got kids going into various soccer and other sports, and the parent or fan engagement, fan being a parent being a fan of the kids, there is not much of a fan engagement in youth and amateur sports. So I was thinking about it when we were working with various sports organizations, and then decided, hey, maybe there is a place where we could create a platform which can do something better than what it is doing today. And that idea led to iSportz. So iSportz focus is basically, we have created a platform which is an integrated platform for business management from a sports organization perspective. So whether it is member management, event management, learning management, fundraising, merchandising, we've kind of created a HubSpot kind of a model where all of these modules are available under one platform. It's integrated, data talks to each other. So the organizations can handle their athletes, coaches, and fans in a better way. And then we took that further and say, okay, this will give efficiency to the organization, but how do I tap on the underserved communities and kids who could have more opportunities? So we are looking at creating the sports engagement, which is basically a social media app kind of a thing for very much focused on youth and amateur sports. So we are launching the social media app. We got the B2B platform, and then we're trying to integrate both of them. So now I have a B2B2C app where I have organizations who can also talk to their fans, could also engage and grow their sports by recruiting more kids who would like to play the sports, and create this whole sports ecosystem, which is self-driven, growth-driven, and value-driven for all the parties included. So that is the vision that we started iSportz with in 2022. We've launched a sports platform. Next month, we are launching our engagement platform, which is a LinkedIn meets Instagram kind of version for youth and amateur sports. And we're trying to bring about the change, which as a parent and as somebody who's been going to various games, that I felt could help every parent, every fan, every athlete, and help them grow, as well as connect with the future steps. Like, I'm an athlete today, tomorrow I could be a coach, but tomorrow I might also get a job in the sports world. For me to facilitate that, we're trying to build this one platform called iSportz, and that is the vision, and that's where we are going after. So that is, in a nutshell, what we are going from a vision perspective. And thank you for joining us today. Over to you, Lindsay.
Thank you so much, Vijay. And I hope that helped everyone see a little bit more into who we are as an organization and what our goals and missions are. And Vijay, I want to really appreciate and thank you for sharing a little bit about, as a parent, I know one of the frustrations you found in your own kids' sports experiences were some of those lack of positive parent-fan engagement opportunities in your kids' sports. There's no bigger fan for any amateur youth sport than the parent of the athletes who are participating. And we want to make sure not just our athletes, coaches, but also our parents and fans are having a great experience. And I love that. And I think it's very important that we are able to share with everyone that you have a very personal investment in what kind of helped motivate this. So thank you so much for sharing that. One thing I want to touch on really quick before we dive right into the good stuff is we're going to go through our 4 primary modules here at iSportz. It's club and team management. You're going to see our member management, our event registration and management, as well, and our learning management as well. And I want to give just a minute, a little bit of background, because Vijay is an extremely humble guy, and I want to brag on him and the wonderful team he's put together just a little bit. We come from almost a decade of sports software development experience working with some of the largest organizations in the country. And we had these incredible experiences building these extremely powerful, complex systems for these very large and honestly very well-funded organizations. And with all of that knowledge and experience, we took that and we distilled it into scalable and cost-effective tools, because we believe sports are for everyone. And we want every organization, big or small, to have the same opportunities to grow, to reach and touch athletes, and to change lives as the largest organizations in the country do. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and share and let you guys see what our platforms look like. And you're going to notice some of these are branded. That's because we're going to give you a glimpse into platforms that are actually being utilized by our partners today. One of the ones you're going to see is Alliance Fast Pitch Softball. We are proud to show platforms that aren't just telling you what we say they're going to do. They're actually walking the walk and doing those functionalities that we're promising. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start. After each module, I'm going to take a quick break. If anyone has any questions, I would love for you to share them in the chat or unmute yourself, and please feel free to ask. So thank you so much, everyone, and let's dive in. And I would ask if everyone can either raise a hand or let me know if that screen is visible. Excellent, thank you. So what we're looking at right now is our club and team management platform. This was a platform that was created by sports and for sports. And when I say by sports and for sports, we spent hundreds of hours meeting with different sports organizations, different individuals with different roles in those organizations, creating focus groups and saying, hey, what are the things that you wish you had? What are your biggest time wasters? What are your biggest pain points? So we've created a scalable platform that helps organizations manage clubs and teams easier than ever. We are the most cost-effective and competitive on the market. This is, as an example, I'm showing you what it would be looking like as a club admin or as the administrator of your organization. So you can see right here at a glance, you have a dashboard that gives you very important metrics. Obviously, finances make the world go round. You can see general revenue, athlete and coach registrations. You can see different fee and payment breakdowns. You can see month over month, year revenues. And this is a really great at a glance when you log in. Now, user management, again, personally for myself, I was a Division I NCAA athlete. I'm a proud Florida State alumni, played volleyball for FSU, go Noles. And obviously after my time playing and, throughout my younger years and through college, I was also a coach. One of the biggest challenges I had was getting everything together from a parent that you need. Those waivers, the payments, the general information athlete info form. So we have created an incredibly easy way to manage all of your athletes. You can invite athletes to self-register. You can individually load athletes, or you can actually bulk upload athletes. So if you're already an organization who's maybe already registered and you don't want them to have to go through that again, you can actually upload your athletes. You provide sample templates and make it as easy as possible. You'll also notice here in the corner, we have some very convenient color coding. This allows you to see the status of everyone in your organization. Additionally, I'd like to point out that individuals can hold multiple roles. You may have someone who is an athlete, but also a coach for some of your younger age divisions. We have taken that into consideration. You can see age division groups, and a big one for nowadays is your waivers. We know compliance is what makes the world go round. So here we are. You can see everyone who has or has not signed a waiver. That pending status will reflect if they've completed what they need. And if they have not, you can send them a nice little reminder email, because we know sometimes everyone has those problem children who don't get their things in on time. Again, back to that waiver management, we understand every organization is unique. So we have allowed the opportunity for you to create your different waivers you may have. And this may even vary down to your team to team level. Your teams actually will have the same opportunity to create waivers as applicable to those teams. You can name them, you can apply them to different age groups, categories, athletes, coaches, and parents. And hey, look, our athletes sportsmanship is important, but so are our parents and our coaches. If you have a parent and coach, code of conduct guide, we can go ahead and put that in there as well. I can say as a former coach, some of the biggest problem kids I had weren't the kids, but the parents. So I'm sure many of you can sympathize with that. And then again, you can choose your signature types. And I'd like to point out that not only can you create waivers, you actually have the ability to edit existing waivers, and you can even view past versions. You can set how long they're valid, so you never have to worry if you forgot to update those in your new coming season. This team management, so here's where you can manage as the organization runner. If you're the head of the league or the club, here is where you can view all of your different teams. You can see whether they're active or inactive. You can view that team information. You can assign your team admins. This way, there's no ever, if for whatever reason, someone is no longer able to fill that role, you don't have to figure out what the password was. We can reset that information very easily. And another reason that we've allowed this type of age division editing is because often you will see teams that there'll be players who come and go, but as an overall team, we'll age up through those divisions together. To save your coaches time, we've allowed you to update that age division to minimize the re-rostering season over season. And that really plays into one of our biggest goals here at iSportz, which is saving you time, saving you money, creating a better experience for your players, parents, and coaches. And furthermore, you can see if you have team rosters, they'll view here. So as an overall admin, you do have the ability to view any team roster information. You'll see what those roles are, ages, contact information, mobile number, anything that they have provided, you will have at a glance visibility. And obviously, one of the things that rules the youth sporting and amateur sporting world is age divisions and age cutoffs. You'll notice that these are highly configurable because those don't just vary sport to sport, but also vary state to state. So you have the ability to define your age parameters for your sport. One of the things we created was a sport neutral platform that is a flexible tool for all different sports to be able to utilize. That way they are not pigeonholed into a single platform. It is allowing them to have those configurations to make it truly efficient and usable for whatever sport discipline they're a part of. Our next item I want to go over is, and again, we're here at a high level, and one of the things I want to mention is if anyone would like to take a deeper dive into any of these, please drop that name and email in the chat, and we would be happy to set up an in-depth demo for you. But here we're looking at our event and scheduling, and we'll see a really exciting change here in a moment. That is something I wish as a coach I would have had to provide to my parents. Is here you can see managing your events. So we have two different options. There's game and practice and events. So you can bulk upload. Again, we provide sample templates, but here you can put in event names. So these general events can be anything. Maybe it's a skills clinic. Maybe it's just a team pizza party, but you can select for certain age divisions. You can put event host names, specific times, locations. These locations actually integrate with Google Maps. I was coaching and playing back in the days of MapQuest. If anyone also remembers that, I'm sure some of you do and don't want to age yourself like I just did. But that will actually provide to your parents the actual Google Map address so they can very easily find directions. Any additional information you want to provide, and you can provide an RSVP option as well. This is critical because that way you don't ever have to have a parent say, I did not know the practice time changed, because you can actually request an RSVP and then validate that that information was received by your parents, coaches, whatever group that you are targeting. And we have those same amazing capabilities here in adding games. And this is for games, practices, tournaments. And you actually, in that bulk ability to upload events that I just mentioned, you can upload all of your practices for an entire season. So as a coach, if you want to go ahead and put that on, and we'll show an exciting capability from the parent side here in a moment, they can download this to the calendar of their choice. I know I personally am a Google Calendar kind of gal. So if I have the ability to not track things through multiple applications to make my life easier, that's all I could ask for. And that's exactly what we set out to do. Notifications, if you make any changes to any of this information, it will automatically update everyone who's been invited to this event. So you have the ability to rest assured that no one is out of the loop. Everyone knows exactly where they need to be and when. So obviously, I know we touched on this before, finances are one of the most critical parts of any organization. We partner with Stripe. It is the leading payment processor globally in both security and fee cost efficiency. So here you can see a very succinct list of any of your fees and payments your organization has collected. Both your parents and your event organizers can download itemized payment receipts at a click of a button. And we also can manage refunds very easily through the system. It's an unfortunate truth, but the reality is players get injured, players are not able to complete a season. If you as an organization have chosen to allow those types of refunds, or you want to accommodate any kind of extenuating circumstance, you have the option of both full and partial refunds, and you can make that easier. And again, continuing to benefit that end user, parent, and player experience. Creating your fees and payments is extremely simple. You have the ability to name whatever fee or payment. We'll use uniform fee for an example here. You can do recurring fees or one-time payments. You can say what type of individuals or teams you want to have these apply to. You can determine the amount, description. You can even set the active to and from. Again, there is nothing worse than realizing you've opened your registration and you haven't updated your fees. We've eliminated that issue. This way, there is no room for error. You're able to limit those. And you can also, most importantly, offer payment plans to your parents. The last thing we ever want at iSportz, it's core in our values and who we are, is for financials to be a barrier to entry for any athlete to be able to participate. So especially if parents with multiple athlete households, allowing them to have some payments spread out, make it a little bit more digestible. I think that's an incredibly important thing. And as an admin in the organization, you can decide what payment plans you want to offer. Again, you can then manage those installment plans here. You can see anyone who is enrolled in those, upcoming fees, paid fees, and failed transactions. And in the vein of making your lives easier, any failed transaction that's run 3 times, if that payment method still continues to fail, both admins will be notified as well as the individual that they need to update their payment method. And here's an incredibly important part that we love to highlight is we have the ability to collect donations for your organizations through the system. One of the biggest things that we found when we went out into the market is that a lot of organizations that do donations like GoFundMe, they actually take a tremendously large portion of that money. They're averaging between 15 to 25% of the funds raised actually go back to those organizations. We have undercut the market at less than a third of the average market cost for fundraising because we want the money that those athletes raise to go to those athletes. So here we have the ability to track donations. And also, obviously, for tax and accounting purposes, also track those donation transactions. And again, we have user and member reports. You have detailed reports that you can run ranging from gender, waiver status, current player status, email ID. You have a vast number of parameters that you can set. Everything can be exported as a PDF or an Excel file. We have some really great at-a-glance financials. I know some of you who may have accountants who are working for your organization will thank you for this later. You have some great at-a-glance. You can even get down day to day. And then, of course, those financial reports, again, multiple access to that itemized receipt. You can view financial details down to that individual Stripe transaction ID, download those, and you have, again, extensive parameters for running those financials. And the Excel downloads of these are QuickBook friendly. And yet another thing that brings us to one of the big values that we bring as iSportz, this communication module. One of our goals is to provide game-changing tools to organizations at competitive cost. We want to lower your total cost of ownership and operation as an organization. So we've provided communication tools that allow you to send emails, in-system notifications, and text messages to all of your users. That can be an individual user, individual teams. You can send them to age divisions, even by user type. If it's just parents, if it's parents and coaches, athletes and coaches, you have the ability to send an unlimited number of text messages and email notifications. At that coach level for those team admins, they have these same capabilities just within the ecosystem of the team or teams they manage. And everyone's familiar with this little account setting icon. Of course, here's where you can manage your passwords very easily. I'm going to do a quick switch over to our team admin. I'm going to go through this very quickly, everyone, because you're going to notice it's extremely similar to a lot of the things that you've seen in the club admin capabilities. And that is because we understand that especially organizations that are growing, they want to give some autonomy to those team admins. They don't want to have to micromanage. So here I'm going to do something you'll notice. We understand that some parents are also coaches. You can switch between different roles at a click of a button. I know personally I can barely keep track of one set of login and password credentials. We've eliminated the need to track more than one. So again, all of these parameters as a team admin, you have the ability that you saw in the club admin. If you are a coach or team admin for multiple teams, you can manage them all conveniently in one place. Manage rosters is easier than ever. It's single click, add or drop to your rosters. Again, all that contact information for parents, coaches, and athletes. And again, that same communication tools that you have as a club admin at that team level. So of course, one of the biggest ones is if your parents aren't having a good time, no one's having a good time. If your parents are having difficulty with something, the organization is having difficulty. So we have created a parent profile that allows them to manage their households and multiple athletes extremely simply. So here, there's never going to be a question again of have I turned everything in that I need to. They will have confirmation that their profile is complete. If not, by clicking complete profile, it will automatically direct them to the areas that need to be addressed. If they have multiple athletes in their household, all those teams will appear right here. And again, as a parent, you can view different information. And your coaches can decide, you can share phone numbers here as well, but that is up to a setting based on the individual and that information they want to share. So here's the big one that I wish I personally had as a former coach. So here you can see all of the events that this household has been invited to. You can add to calendar. You can choose the calendar that is your preference. We have 8 different calendar options here. For example, I'm a Google Calendar girl, as mentioned. I can add that to my calendar and it will then tell me I've already added that. So that way you know you have everything in one place. Your family calendar is all up to date. You can easily manage your payments notifications. You can see if you have multiple athletes in a household, it will break that down so you know what payment was for who. You can quickly and easily see a payment history. And as a parent, you can also manage any installment plans you might be enrolled in. And here's where you're able to very easily manage all of your different household members. So we have relationship parent. If you wanted to add additional users, you can add athlete, parent, guardian. You do also have the ability to add multiple parents and guardians. We do understand that there are blended households or separated households that still want to have both parents be involved. You can have multiple parent and guardians as well. And again, there you can view all the waiver history of anything you've signed. Does anyone have any questions on our club and team management tools? All right, well, without further ado, we'll do a quick overview of our membership management. And this is for some of our larger organizations. So we understand club and team management, we're really at that grassroots level. One of the things we wanted to do though is create ecosystems that are connected. So if you have larger organizations like Alliance Fast Pitch, and they want to be able to have a big national view of what that membership looks like, this is the tool for you. We want to create an at a glance. Again, we believe metrics, we believe easy to read, high value graphics as an administrator are time saving and value adding. So you can see here a very quick overview. We can do registration densities both at the team and individual member level. And very similar to what you saw with our club and team, we have member management. We can offer discount codes if you want to provide discounts for all of your individual memberships. We also do this in the vein of we want to help organizations grow. We want to give you the ability to have some marketing capabilities to really have that engagement component. You can easily adjust membership pricing. And again, extremely detailed reporting capabilities. Again, those extremely comprehensive filters and parameters that you saw here. And we have a highly configurable system. So you'll see, as long as we're collecting the data, you can run reports on it. We have set out to be a configurable system that is flexible, with the cost benefit of being the SaaS product that allows you to have that really scalable cost efficiency that we're all looking for. Obviously, in terms of security, looking at this as a larger organization-oriented tool, you can determine different permissions and different levels of admin capabilities within your organization. If you have a finance manager, if you have individuals that you just want to have certain view permissions, you can have those waterfall and tiered permissions to make sure that all the individuals who are part of running your organization have the accessibility that they need, and you can define those roles. You even have the ability to transfer players if you're an organization, especially at the national level, that you're managing transfers between different leagues. You're trying to make sure you know that people aren't double rostered on 2 teams. You have the ability to manage your player transfers. And again, included in the system, looking at that, lowering your total cost of ownership, helping you get rid of that MailChimp subscription, get rid of those extra tools. We actually have a campaign manager that allows you to create email templates. You can create campaigns, schedule sends, and when you send them, you'll actually be able to have result reporting on those campaigns. So if you're paying for Constant Contact, if you're paying for MailChimp, if you're paying for these additional tools, it'll allow you to get rid of that subscription, bring it all under one umbrella, and lower that total cost of ownership. You even have the ability to edit your member dashboards, because membership value is critical. It's critical to membership retention, and it's critical to enticing new members. And we'll give a quick view at what one of our member dashboards look like, because again, when we were creating the iSportz platform, we wanted to go beyond just providing a management tool. We wanted to say, we want to help organizations grow. So here's an example. I will log in as a user. You actually have the ability to show partnerships or values. If you have certain discounts, if you have certain benefits that come with being a part of your organization, when your member logs in, you can highlight those clearly. Why be a part of our organization? Here you can see at a glance all the different benefits you get, any discounts, if they have store links. You can really bring that in, because again, amateur sports, especially in the US, is a highly competitive market, and we want to help your organization stand out. And here you can see how easy it is for members to also view and edit their profiles. We have at a glance, status information. They have member histories, and that way you can really track the continuity of a life cycle of your members. Do we have any questions regarding the membership management? Please feel free to drop in the chat, raise a hand. Excellent. Without further ado, we'll move on to event management. Now, event management is one of the fastest growing sectors in most competitive areas of amateur and youth sports. We understand that managing events is no small feat. We're trying to do our part to make it a little bit easier for you all. So here we're logged in again. If I was an event manager or admin, if I am someone who is creating events, we have multiple different levels at which you can create events. We can have events that can require approval. So again, if you're one of those organizations that's maybe a larger geographical or national organization, and you want an event from one of your regions to go ahead, they can create the event, but you want to go ahead and make sure you give that a check mark okay. You can have them submit that for approval. You also have the ability to give them full parameters to create those events and publish them as well. So we're going to do a couple different things here. Here you can see the whole history and life cycle of all the events that you've created. One thing that we do is every event, and this goes into those marketing tools that we talked about. Every event, when you create and fill out all of these details here, and these details are all configurable. You can actually create your own event templates. If you have multiple different types of events you run, these areas in these fields can be configured and pre-filled for efficiency. You can actually do restricted events. If it's a membership required event or an open event, you can restrict them. You can do age restricted events. I mean, the possibilities really are quite endless. So we have the ability to have this be an extremely efficient way for your event managers and event organizers to create those events. And here you have an event page. And here's where the magic really happens in terms of marketing. Every event you create will generate a microsite. And obviously we see this is very aptly named test event here. So this is just a little demo. All these images, these logos, these branding, these information fields are configurable in your event setup. And by creating this microsite automatically when any event is published, it allows you to really target your event marketing. So if you really want to highlight an event out to a key segment of your membership, rather than them having to go and scroll through your website and scroll through your available events, this allows you to take this unique code, embed it in a marketing email through the campaign tool that you saw, and send it out. And that way you can just say, register here. Again, it's that ease of user experience that will keep your parents, your players, your coaches happy, and will keep them coming back for more, will keep that retention season over season. And again, bringing it back into something as a MapQuest generation person, the Google Maps integration, never having to get phone calls again of where am I going again? We've tried to think of everything we can to make this a smooth and seamless experience. So obviously, you know, every event is going to have its own quirks. Every event is going to have its own parameters. When you're collecting the information for all of your event registrants, you actually have the ability to add custom fields. One of the things we did again with iSportz is we are a SaaS platform. We are a platform that is a subscription tool, but we have tried to build in as much configurability as possible, meaning that we want to give you the cost effectiveness of a subscription system, but still have flexibility to work within the parameters and needs of your organization. So here you can see different field names. You can have it be a drop-down. You can have it be a checkbox. You can have it be multi-select zip codes. You have a number of options in creating those custom form fields that you need to collect regardless. If you wanted for your event to collect their favorite color, that's absolutely possible. Not only that, we have two different types of event registrations. We can do team registrations. We also can do individual registrations because we understand camps, clinics, skill intensives. These are all different things that will come up. It's not just team events. We have a lot of individual events in youth sports. You have the flexibility to do both. You also have flexibility in your payment configuration. You can offer free events. You can offer paid events. You can set your number of seats. You can set wait lists. So we want to make sure, again, that you're able to reach as many people as possible, and you're able to do this as easily as possible. And again, this will be integrated with our Stripe partners, our payment processor. And you that way you also know you have extreme security in all of the payment processing for your users. And coming back to that coupon thing, because again, part of growth is we know that youth sports can get quite pricey. We want to make sure everyone is able to have it accessible. And also you're enticing new members into your organizations. So you can create coupons at a overall level you'll see here, or at an event by event level. So you can add it to a selected event, or you can say, hey, if you register for an event in the month of April or August, whatever it may be, we'll give you 20% off your first event. So you have a lot of different parameters here. Again, those start dates and expiry dates, allowing you to do, maybe you're doing a new member month or new participant month where anyone who registers in the month of August gets 50% off. That way you never have to forget to deactivate it. You can preset those expiration dates. You can even set the number of limits to that coupon for usage. So if you want to say, hey, the first 100 to register, you can set that expiration or that limit right there very easily. You can do both percentages and fixed amounts. And again, trying to keep it easy, trying to keep it simple, eliminating the need for additional, mass mailing partners like that Constant Contact, like that MailChimp. All of your registered users, this is a customizable template and email that can be sent out. This is a very simple one for example purposes, but you can see it's rich text format, HTML. You can embed images, you can embed different links and codes. You can really make this whatever you want. So you can show your appreciation and your excitement for all of those who are participating in your organization's events or camps. And then of course, most importantly, here's where you can manage your registered users. I'm going to slide into an event with a number of registered users so we can really get a good example of what that looks like. Let's see. Let's do players of tomorrow here. And here are our registered users. So you'll notice here that, again, we have that filtering capability, this in progress, completed, wait list, abandoned. We actually, again, coming back to those growth retention marketing tools, have an abandoned cart option where you can then send reminder emails for everyone. Hey, we know parents are busy. We know they started registering for a camper clinic and then someone asked what was for dinner and someone couldn't find their glove for practice. This way you can see if someone had started that registration process, send them a little nudge, a little reminder email. Hey mom, forgot to go ahead and finish the payment for that camper clinic. You can also send individual emails to your individual registrants. You can send additional reminder emails as well. And you can view all of the details that you have chose to collect on that registration form. And again, as always, everything is exportable to a PDF and Excel format. So again, here we've seen our coupons. Here's where you can manage these coupons at a global level if you don't want them to be specific to a certain event, if you want to have that be open, like mentioned, if you're doing a new member or a registration push month. You can even have different subsets of the organization under your overall umbrella. And of course, wanting to make it as easy as possible for your administration as well, just like we've seen previously, being able to manage your different users, different permissions, and different user roles. Do we have any questions on the event registration? Oh, I see a hand up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wendy. I got a question as part of the email. Is there like a limit on the number of emails or texts that can be sent to our teams?
No, and that's a good question. So that unlimited email and text carries throughout our platform. I know that's a great question because I know that's something that has been a point of concern in terms of cost. If you're looking at other mass emailing providers like Constant Contact or MailChimp, no, we have chose to leave that unlimited because again, looking at your total cost of ownership. So across all of our tools, there is no limit on the number of emails and communications that can be sent through the platform.
Thank you very much.
No, great question. I know I mentioned it for the one, but that's an excellent question. We carry that across all the tools, as Vijay mentioned in his intro. This is a unified platform, and we wanted to make sure that we carried that throughout. All right, if there's no questions on the EMS, last but certainly not least, we have our learning management module. Now, we understand a lot of organizations, and again, I know I keep mentioning as a coach, but as a coach, I remember having to go do my coaching certification annually, and we had to go into the club that I was coaching for and do it on paper, and that was a huge pain. So we actually have a learning management tool that we've built in for coaches, officials, for parents, even for athletes. So what we've done, and here we're looking at a dashboard, is you have the ability to certify your coaches, certify your officials. If you are an organization that requires safe sport compliancy, we have the ability for them to take their safe sport through the tool as well. We also can do background checks. We all know, above all else, our athletes' safety is our #1 priority. So the ability to track background checks for your coaches or officials, especially if they're working with underage or minor athletes. So here we have the ability to provide learning management tools. This also is an opportunity for an additional revenue stream for your organization. If you want to provide, coaching enhancement courses, if you want to provide skills courses to your athletes, each of these courses can be paywalled, meaning you can charge for them. You also can provide them free of charge. And that's going back to what is the value you're bringing your members, your athletes, your parents, your coaches. One of the things that we've highly encouraged and seen used a lot in this platform is concussion awareness. And we know that concussions are not just something that happen in football, they happen in all sports, and actually at as high, if not often higher rates in some sports than football. And one of the things that we've seen is being able to really create a better informed, safer environment for all of our athletes by making sure all of our participants, that includes our parents, are well informed. So here you can see, as a user, any course that you're eligible for will show up here. if you're an organization that has different levels of coaching or officials, we can also do, we can make sure that there's validation and if you're eligible for those courses. So eligibility validation is built in. You never have to worry about a level 1 coach then jumping straight to level 3. We can track that eligibility. We can track that learner journey to make sure that they are doing things as they need to in the order they need to appear. Just as an example, if you go into a youth baseball, we integrate with a number of different tools. We have live webinar capabilities. We have chats. You can have interactive links. All of the courses are structured so they're extremely easy to follow. You'll know exactly if you've completed it. You'll know exactly how much needs to be done. You can get an overview of everyone else who's enrolled in that course, and you can have group chats. You can have quizzes. As someone who's an administrator or a course creator, you also have the ability to set different parameters for pass fail. It could be completion. It could be a certain percentage. You can limit the number of attempts. You have an extremely flexible number of capabilities here. If you have SCORM packages that you're currently using, we are SCORM compliant and uploading those as well. In terms of your reports, you can see all of your different course completion insights, logs. Logs incredibly important because in the day and age of the internet, one of the easiest things to say is, oh, I didn't get to complete my quiz on time. I was doing it and my internet went out. You have the ability to actually go in and see their last login to verify that and then make that decision. All right, we'll give you another shot. Or, hey, it looks like you haven't logged in since last month. So it just gives really comprehensive participation, activity, and general completion capabilities and overviews for you. And then again, one of the things that we've created that I think is incredibly important and incredibly helpful is we have interactive courses. Now, I'm sure no one here wants to admit it, but I'll go ahead and admit it myself. If you've ever gotten a ticket and had to take the DMV course, that is a timed course. You have to sit there, you have to go through it for a certain amount of time. I know personally, I would let that run, go do some laundry, go make some lunch, come back, breeze through it. You're not really getting the value that was intended. You're not really getting the full impact of the material being shared. So we have created interactive courses that allow you to overlay questions. You're actually fast forward. So you can overlay as many questions as you want, and everyone bear with me here. Obviously, this is an example. I hope your course content is a little more engaging than this example. But here you can see you can overlay a question and they're not able to move forward until that question has been successfully answered. They can go back and rewatch that segment, but they're not able to continue until that's completed. So that really mitigates individuals kind of getting up, just running out that clock. It actually makes them sit there, be engaged, and really get the value from the content that you guys have so carefully put in together. You do have the ability to have multiple levels of course creators as well. So as an admin, you can create overall courses. You also can have course managers. So here you see I'm logged in as an overall site admin. As a course manager, I will only see courses that I am the manager of. And of course, the concussion education, we had to have that in as an example because incredibly important. And again, bringing it back to additional revenue streams and additional value to your memberships. And I'd like to thank everyone. I know that we had set aside up to 3:45 for the high-level overview of our entire platform. And I want to thank everyone for being here and for taking the time to hopefully learn a little bit about what we can offer and how we can help your organizations. I want to open up the floor for any additional questions there may be. And if you have not already, I encourage everyone to please drop your name in that chat for the Amazon gift card drawing. And VJ, is there anything that you wanted to touch on that I may have missed? Any questions, anyone?
I think you covered it all, Lindsay. And then the sports engagement app, that is something which is launching in October, the beta version. Uh, that is something which we will be sharing in social media and things once it's in the app store for download.
So I would encourage everyone in that same vein to, if you're not following us already on our different socials, please go and follow us. Stay tuned because we do have some exciting things we're going to be launching, and we would love to give you the opportunity to be in that first wave and kind of have that preview before we really go fully live with it. So I want to thank everyone again for your time, and please feel free to reach out. Our information is in the registration page where you originally signed up. Please feel free if you have questions later on to reach out to our team, and thank you all.
Thank you.